Buddha's teachings sweep the dust of the soul, overcome fear and prejudice. Hi, have you ever felt small and out of place in a crowd? It could be in an important meeting when everyone around you is shining with expensive clothes, prestigious titles, and flashy success stories. Their eyes pass over you, not with outright contempt, but enough for you to feel an invisible distance, an unspoken comparison. At that moment, a feeling of inferiority creeps into your soul, asking quietly, "Do I really belong here?" And then you start to doubt your own worth, question your background, what you have, or what you have not achieved. You think that a person's worth is determined by fame, social status, or the degrees hanging on the wall. That sadness, that feeling of loneliness and loss, is not unique to anyone. Sometimes we unintentionally become slaves to social norms, to the measures that people set for themselves. We forget that each person's soul is a separate universe, not comparable or valued by ephemeral material things. The arrogance of others, or our own inferiority, are invisible layers of dust that obscure the bright light within. Thousands of years ago, the Buddha saw through these sufferings. He used a simple but profound story to point out that the true value of a person does not lie in their birth, class, or status, but in their actions and virtues. He said, "A person is not noble by birth, nor is he born mean, but is noble by actions and base by actions." This is a teaching that is both awakening and healing, reminding us that everything we have in this world comes and goes by chance. Only love, humility, and compassion are eternal values. Decoding the teaching. It is not by fate that one comes, nor by fate that one goes. The Buddha's teachings are not a lofty theory, but a mirror that looks directly into our nature. To understand more deeply, let's go back more than 2,500 years ago, to a beautiful kingdom where the story of a barber named Upali took place and forever became a great lesson in humility. Upali the barber lived in a lowly state. His whole life was marked by looks, disparaging words, and a harsh reality. No matter how talented he was, he could not overcome the walls of his caste. Yet, deep in Upali's heart, there was a strong desire for truth and liberation. When he heard about the Buddha and his teachings, a ray of hope lit up within him. He believed that there, true equality existed, where people were judged by their hearts and not by their birth. On the same morning, another group of people were also coming towards the Buddha. They were princes, people of the noble Brahmin caste, people respected by the whole society. They came to ask to become monks, not necessarily because of their thirst for truth like Upali, but also to bring glory to their family, to the Buddha's career. They were proud of the noble blood flowing in their veins, of the titles they bore. When they arrived, they met Upali, a barber with a humble appearance. The Brahmins looked at him with contempt. They whispered, "How can such a lowly person be here? If he becomes the Buddha's disciple, our reputation, that of the entire Sakya clan, will be tarnished." They believed that a little mouse like Upali would spoil the rice pot of a great teacher. This is where the difference between human worldview and the truth of the universe is clearly exposed. On one side is discrimination, prejudice, attachment to fame and status. On the other side is selfless, indiscriminate, limitless compassion. The Buddha demonstrated this with an action that shocked everyone. He accepted Upali first and ordained him first. Then he asked all the noble Brahmins to bow down to Upali, who had become their elder brother. This incident created a wave of anger among the Brahmins. They could not accept this fact. Their pride arose, and they wanted to leave. They said, "Why should we, the noble ones of the Sakya clan, bow down to a slave. The Buddha smiled and slowly explained. The difference in status, in nobility or baseness, is all created by your own arrogant mind. You are enslaving yourself to your arrogance, slaves to your own greed and attachment to fame. All your suffering and sorrow today are not created by Upali, but by your own arrogant mind that is tormenting you. This story is not only a warning to the Brahmins of old, but also a profound lesson for each of us today. When pride makes us slaves, look at our present life. Are we not reenacting the play of the ancient Brahmins? At work, we compare positions, titles, and salaries. We feel superior to others because we have a higher title, or because we graduated from a prestigious university. When a young colleague, without much experience, works effectively and is praised by the boss, we feel uncomfortable. We say to ourselves, "He is just a new soldier. How can he be better than me?" That arrogant mind prevents us from seeing the talents of others, from learning, and from closing the door to development. In our social relationships, we build invisible barriers. We choose our friends and partners based on status and wealth. We are complacent when it comes to associating with famous people, but we avoid ordinary people. Just as the Brahmins refused to associate with Upali, we deny ourselves the opportunity to learn from those who have a good heart, even though they have nothing. Pride not only hurts others, but also hurts ourselves. It is an invisible psychological burden, an invisible chain that binds the soul. When we cling to our noble self, we will always live in comparison and jealousy. We cannot be truly happy with what we have, because there is always someone richer, more successful, more beautiful. That pride always torments us, making us never feel satisfied. The Buddha pointed out that all that suffering was caused by the ego. When the Brahmins finally realized that their suffering was not caused by Upali, but by their own pride, they let go. They bowed down, not out of fear or compulsion, but because they had truly freed their minds from the burden of pride. Actions that create eternal value. If value does not lie in what we are born with, then where does it lie? The Buddha replied, "It lies in our own actions." Behavior is not just what we do, but how we think, how we treat ourselves and others. Upali was respected by the Buddha, not because he was a barber, but because he had a noble behavior, extreme humility, and a pure desire for truth. He overcame fear, overcame prejudice to seek the Dharma, even though he was rejected by the world. Another story, also from the time of the Buddha, further illustrates this teaching. It is the story of two brothers, Chulapanthaka and Mahapanthaka. The elder brother, Mahapanthaka, was a learned scholar. The younger brother, Chulapanthaka, was extremely dull. He could not learn a single sutra or precept by heart. The whole village considered him a laughingstock. The elder brother, ashamed, wanted to chase his younger brother away. The Buddha once again saw the worth of a man through his actions and not through his intellect. He did not send him away, but taught him a simple sentence: sweep the dust, remove the dirt. Every day, Chulapanthaka picked up a broom and swept the monastery, chanting his mantra. Everyone laughed at him, thinking he was so stupid, but it was his perseverance and purity in that action that helped Chulapanthaka become enlightened. He realized that sweeping dust was not just sweeping the temple grounds, but sweeping away the afflictions, greed, anger, and delusion in his mind. Removing dirt was not just removing rubbish, but removing the attachments and attachments of life. Chulapanthaka's conduct, though simple, was a noble one. It demonstrated patience, humility, and devotion to the Dhamma. It was through this conduct that a man who was considered foolish became a great Arahant, renowned for his wisdom. Examples of everyday life. A person's worth is not determined by where they start, but by where they choose to go. We can see examples like this everywhere. A janitor who works hard every day not only keeps the city clean, but also keeps his own soul pure. He works with meticulousness, with dignity, without complaining. His behavior is more respectable than anyone who wears designer clothes but has a soul full of garbage. A single mother struggled to raise her children. No matter how difficult life was, she never gave up and raised her children to be good people. Her love and perseverance were noble acts that created eternal values. A young man started his career from scratch, doing manual work. He was not afraid of hardship, always learning and moving forward. His perseverance and effort were the true values. All of these people, though in ordinary positions, radiated a brilliant light by their own noble actions. They were not bound by social prejudices, but lived according to the truth. A person's value is not given by others, but is created by oneself through compassionate, humble, and meaningful actions. Dear friend, the story of Upali and Chulapanthaka teaches us a core lesson. Human beings are not fundamentally different. We all have the potential to become enlightened, to become noble. The only difference is in our hearts. A heart filled with pride and greed will forever live in misery. A heart filled with compassion and humility will find peace. Let go of your attachment to status and fame, and live a meaningful, fulfilling life through your own actions.